Realtors, Google ads versus YouTube ads, which one actually gets you better results? I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on both platforms, and today I'm just going to break it all down. From conversion rates to cost per lead to lead quality, I'm going to show you which platform is better to get you listings. And along with that, I'm going to show you the exact funnel for both platforms so you can decide which is best that agents are actually using today to get deals in today's market. So let's dive in. So you can see just in the last 30 days, I've generated about 1.4 million impressions, spent about $14,000 on ads, about 12,000 clicks. You can see from May 31st to June 29th. So now breaking it down, Google ads versus YouTube ads, which one is better? I'm going to go over basically who they're for, who should use them from my experience using them. And along with this, I've tested Facebook ads, I've done TikTok, Instagram ads. I've done pretty much every single type of ad under the sun. So I'm just going to show you my experience from Google ads versus YouTube ads. So starting out with the cost per lead. So first of all, on Google ads, it is going to be a bit cheaper than on YouTube. If you didn't know, they both are run through the same platform. YouTube is owned by Google, and YouTube and Google are the largest number 1 and 2 search engine in the entire world. So there is similarities there. But even though that they are the exact same platform, you're going to get significantly different cost per leads, especially on Google. You're going to get a cheaper cost per lead, whereas YouTube, it is going to be a bit more expensive. Now, the cost per lead this is something that I think, especially in today's day and age, when what a lead is such a gray area. Like, as a real estate agent, you probably get so many people reaching out to you saying, hey, we sell leads, buy our leads. But it's like a lead means nothing unless they're actually looking to buy or sell. Someone from Facebook or someone that you just get their name, email, and number, but they're not even looking to buy a home. They're not looking to sell a home. They're looking in 10 years. It's not a lead, right? So that's why it is a bit wishy-washy when we say cost per lead, but I'm still just going to go with it for simplicity's sake. So on Google, it's going to be about 15 to 30 bucks. And this is going to be buyers and sellers. I'm going to primarily be talking about sellers in this example because I know every agent wants listings, right? And buyers, most people don't want to run ads to get buyers, right? That's what a lot of people do. But I'm going to talk about sellers for this example. This is what I do for all the agents I work with. By the way, at any point in this video, if you do want to learn more about YouTube ads, have me set a system up for you, just learn a bit more, feel free to check the link below and book a call with me. But anyways, the cost per lead on YouTube, the average, and this is going to completely range. You can see it is a pretty big range market to market. Like I have some markets where the average home price is $1.1 million. And of course, the average cost per lead is going to be a bit higher there than in like a small town in Minnesota, for example. Right. So it's all going to be relative, but you're also, and when I run these ads, I'm willing to spend more in a higher market. Same for Google ads, same for any ad. The first thing you want to do is figure out what is the target cost per lead based on my market. And I have another video breaking that down. If you want me to send over how I do that, feel free to just comment below, but it's going to fluctuate depending on the market. That's the first part. Now, cost per lead isn't as important because like if you're getting double the cost per lead for a YouTube ad compared to Google, but your conversion rate's 3 times higher, like it's going to be a much better ROI. And that's what I've seen with YouTube. You're going to get a very low quantity of leads, but the conversion rate is going to be much higher. Google, it's for sure better than Facebook from what I've seen. I know some agents say otherwise, but for sure, Google ads are going to be they're going to be a bit higher quality than Facebook, and they're going to have a bit more intent. And that leads me into the next point, which is the intent. On Google ads, the intent, I would say about 7 out of 10. It is pretty solid because these are people in the market. A lot of times they do want to sell their home. They do want to buy a home. They're maybe not just as qualified. And it's the same on YouTube. They even have more intent from what I've seen because they're taking the time to watch a 2-minute video about selling their home. Right. And then they go and click on it. It just adds a little more friction on YouTube, but it is kind of similar in terms of intent, but the YouTube ones are going to for sure have more intent, probably the highest intent leads you're going to get on the internet from what I've seen. But Google isn't super far behind. Again, like you're going to get people actually looking to buy or sell because they're in the market. It's all intent based. Whereas like Facebook is just someone scrolling around on their phone, which is why you get a lot of tire kickers. But a lot of times if people do want to buy or sell, but maybe on Google, what I've seen is they're not maybe as qualified as they could be. And that leads into the next one, which I would say the Google ranking it out of 10 for qualified Google ads is about 5 out of 10, because a lot of times you do get, when you're targeting sellers, you're going to bring people in, maybe they live in like a mobile home, for example, because a lot of times what you have to do with Google ads is either a free home valuation, see what your home's worth, or get a free list of homes. And speaking about sellers specifically in this example, if they're looking up what's my home worth, a lot of times those people, it could be some kid just on their mom's like computer looking up stuff like that, right? We can't narrow it down to homeowners, people who are actually qualified, which is the tough part. Whereas on YouTube, you're able to target homeowners who are also looking to sell their home, who are actively looking to sell their home. So they're going to be a lot more qualified. You find pretty much everyone you bring in from YouTube does own a home, and they indeed are looking to sell it. Now, it's not perfect. I will say sometimes people have unrealistic expectations about what they can get, but that's another part of the YouTube ads, is setting those expectations and showing yourself as the authority, positioning yourself as the authority. And that, I see, a lot of times helps out with the conversion process. But like I said, Google, you're not, a lot of people are going to be in the lower price ranges from what I've seen. Whereas YouTube, like I've had agents get $1.75 million listings, $1.1 million listings within a month of running them, right? So again, YouTube, you're going to get very qualified people. Again, it's not 100% perfect, but it's going to be a lot more than Google from what I've seen. Now, the personal branding aspect of it, Google, there's pretty much none, because they're looking something up. You're not anywhere in the process. They're just looking up, how can I sell my home fast? Homes for sale near me. And then your ad's going to pop up, but the ad isn't personalized. It's literally just text, and then you send them to a landing page. And that's what I'm going to break down after this and show you guys what it looks like. But on YouTube, again, because it's all video, it's all going to be very, very high. The personal branding aspect, nothing beats video, especially in today's day and age, where I think people are going to go with the realtor they trust. And the only way you can build that trust is by getting in front of them on video. Just think about how much more trust you would have with someone. Think about if I just wrote this down and posted it on Twitter, but you never saw my face, you never knew who I was, as opposed to me making a video about this, breaking it all down, using visuals, actually providing value in an engaging way. You're going to trust me a lot more from a video. And it's the same way with real estate. It's all human to human. I'm really big on psychology, and the best way you build trust is by getting in front of people multiple times. The more they can see, the more they can hear you, the better, the more trust that's going to build. So by the time they do come in, you speak with them, they're basically going to be sold on you. They already like you. They know what value you can provide. And that's why a lot of times, even though they maybe want to price their home higher, they're going to respect your decision that, hey, let's maybe underprice it, because the market, homes are sitting on the market for more days right now, and we're going to create a bidding war, and you're able to sell it above ask price, right? And they would only do that if they respect you, if they really do see your value and see you as the authority. And that's why I think you need to be on video. So that's the one thing about Google ads. It's like a lot of times why the intent is lower, the qualifications lower, is because you're not anywhere in the process. Now, time to first result. So how fast are you able to get results with it? Google, I would say it's pretty fast. I would honestly say medium fast. It's not as fast as Facebook. But then YouTube, it is medium. You're not going to get 20 leads in the first day like Facebook. Sometimes you don't even get 20 leads a month. But again, it's going to be all relative. I would say they are very similar. For a lot of the agents I run YouTube ads for, we'll get a lead on the second day. In most cases, like probably 85% of the time, you get the first lead on the second day, and then they'll kind of accumulate from there. And on Google, basically, it's pretty similar. Like some days you'll get leads the first day, but you also will get more leads coming in. So I'll say it's like medium fast, and then YouTube ads are going to be medium in terms of getting the first lead. But obviously, that's not the result you want. The result you want is listing appointments and listings. So just from speaking from experience, Google is going to be a bit longer in terms of getting that first listing appointment, because the quality is a bit lower. Whereas YouTube, a lot of agents I've seen, majority get their first listing appointment in the first week, 1 to 2 weeks of running the ads, right? And I made another video, Megan, she got 2 listing appointments in the first 6 days. And now she actually, as an update, she got 4 listing appointments in the first 2 weeks, right? So it is really quick in terms of the results if you're talking appointments or listings. But in terms of leads, they are going to be a bit slower than like Facebook, for example. Now, your perceived value, how are you positioned? So basically, this is one of the other things people don't take into account. What are all these other agents doing? Like, for example, every agent is on Facebook nowadays. Everyone's running Facebook ads. So you got to think this home buyer is going to be sophisticated, because they've seen 20 other agents in your exact market running the exact same ad to an extent, basically the exact same thing, same message. How are they going to position any of you as different? They won't. How are they going to know who to trust? They won't, because you're all doing the same thing, and it just lowers your positioning you have, right? Whereas Google, it's going to be pretty low, because again, you're not anywhere in the process. I will say it's higher than Facebook. Maybe low is a bit too much. I would say it's medium, because if they look you up on Google, they will position you a bit higher than if they're just scrolling on Facebook. So I will say your positioning or perceived value is going to be medium right here. And I should have updated this more, but now that I'm thinking of it, it is going to be medium. It's going to be higher than Facebook, whereas YouTube, it's going to be on the medium to high side because there's not really anyone watching video. And if once you see someone on video, you automatically position them as the authority, of course, if they actually know what they're talking about. And that's how you convey yourself, especially when you have a proven script for the YouTube ads, right? So it's all about, this is part of it where a lot of people don't talk about. Like the tip of the iceberg, what's showing above the water is the lead quality, the intent of the leads. But what's under the iceberg is the personal branding, and how you're actually being positioned. Are they positioning you as the authority or just another agent trying to get their business, right? And that's what you have to think about. Those are all things that come into play when it comes to lead quality, which is why a lot of times like people run ads, they just see, okay, what's the lead quality? They don't look into how the leads are actually being generated. Those all play huge parts into it. One like tiny thing, for example, something I've been testing when my hypothesis is that if you don't do any edits on your YouTube ad, and this is just me like brainstorming, is what I've been thinking. If you don't do any edits on your YouTube ad, is the lead quality going to be higher? Because if you're not adding B-roll, you're not adding any overlay footage on your ad to keep them engaged, but you're just basically talking to the camera, still captions, but not using background music, not using crazy edits, just super, super simple. I'm thinking that might improve the lead quality. See, it's stuff like that. That's how I think, is what are these little fractional things that we can do? Of course, outside of the obvious targeting the script, because all that I've already found the stuff that works, but these little marginal things that are going to make a difference, like just removing background music, is that going to improve lead quality? And that's how I think about it as a marketer. And I want you to think about it the same way. What are these little things that most people don't see that can improve the lead quality? Even, for example, if you are running Google ads, think about, how can I improve the lead quality? First of all, what you can do is add some questions on the front end to qualify these people beforehand, make sure they have more intent, but also you can add videos on your landing pages if you'd like. And YouTube, I recommend doing that, but it's going to be video on the front end. But just think about those little things. Like video is going to create higher intent leads, and the more friction there is to come through your funnel, it's going to be a higher intent lead. I don't want to go too much into this, but that's just the way I want you to think about it. That was kind of a tangent, but that's how you really get in the mind of these people and think about what is going to create the highest intent, highest quality lead possible, right? Now, lastly, what a lot of agents care about is the conversion rate. Google is about 1 to 3%, what I've seen. I know some agents do get a little higher, but those are usually, they're adding more friction on the front end. The cost per lead is going to be a lot higher. Now, so from what I've seen though, it's about 1 to 3%. And then on YouTube, it's going to be about 6 to 10%. Even sometimes like 8 to 10% is more realistic, but I gave a big range. But again, really the conversion rate all comes down to the agent. Like you can get the best leads in the world, but if you don't have a process, you don't understand how to work these online leads, because they are different from a referral. That's something a lot of people don't realize. YouTube ones are going to be as close to a referral quality lead as possible, but it still is, you need a process. You need a proven process of converting these. So this is granted that, hey, you actually know what you're doing when it comes to this. And this is something that I help all the agents out with, is what's the best way to convert these leads possible. But YouTube is going to be about 6 to 10%. And Google, it's going to be about 1 to 3%. Now that's basically a breakdown of all the numbers. That should give you a really good idea on which platform is more for you. I will say, and right now, just kind of summarizing it, if you are looking for a way to get the highest quality seller leads possible, YouTube is going to be your best bet. Having said that, maybe you still want higher quality leads than like Facebook, but you don't have like $50 per day to spend on YouTube ads, because that's usually what you need minimum for these seller leads. Then I would go Google. But again, like the $50 per day YouTube, it's granted, like you're going to get at least 8 to 10 times ROI. Obviously, if you do all the stuff, but that's what I see is pretty standard with the YouTube ads for the agents I work with. So if you have the money to invest, I would 100% go YouTube. But having said that, if you want to fill up your pipeline a bit more, maybe get some more longer term nurtures, I would go Google ads as well. If you're okay sifting through more leads. Right. So that's just a breakdown really quick. Now I'm going to walk through the exact funnels, and this is what I used. And this is basically how all these other big companies do them. Trust me, it's super, super simple. That's the thing about Google ads. It's super simple to set up. Like the setup is crazy simple. And basically, because all you need to do is make a landing page, that's it. right? So basically what we're doing with Google Ads is someone looking up homes for sale in Minneapolis or how to sell my home fast in Minneapolis, your ad would show up and it would look like this. So it'd be like Minneapolis, MLS, your next home is here, or it'd be Minneapolis sellers, see what your home is worth. They would click on it. It would bring them to a landing page. They would put in their address, and then basically you get their contact information. A lot of times that's where it ends. And you can see like you're nowhere in the process as the agent. It's not branded really at all, which is why when you do call these leads, a lot of times they say, why are you calling? I didn't click on this. Who are you? Because you're not really anywhere in the process. Having said that, it still is going to be higher intent than someone scrolling on Facebook because they're actually looking up homes for sale or what's my home worth, and then they click on your ad. But it's still, you're not, you can see you're not, a lot of those things below the iceberg, like I was talking about for lead quality, they're not in here. You're not utilizing those. Having said that, you still can go and add stuff to improve the lead quality. For example, one thing you can do is add a video on this page, or you can add questions like, hey, are you serious about selling your home or are you just looking around? And you can add multiple stuff to improve the lead quality if that's something you'd want to do. But in that case, I would honestly just go with the YouTube ads. So what we're doing with YouTube, how it works, we're geo-targeting an area. So you can do neighborhoods, cities, zip codes, counties, and then we're targeting someone who owns a home and is actually looking to sell their home, right? So on Google, it's going to be just anyone looking up this term. They don't need to be a homeowner, but on YouTube ads, what you're able to do is target someone who owns a home and is looking this stuff up. So we know, okay, this is a homeowner who's actually motivated to sell. Because for YouTube, the focus is those more bottom of funnel sellers, whereas Google, it's going to be more middle funnel to top of funnel. Then they're going to see the ad right there, and then they're going to go to the landing page once they click on it, right? So now with the ad, the big point of it is providing value. So having a message where you're not just you're not just saying, hey, if you're thinking of buying or selling your home, give me a call, but offering some sort of lead magnet to get these people in, which is something a lot of agents don't do, but you really do need a lead magnet. And it's the same thing for here. Seeing what your home's worth, get a free home valuation is a lead magnet. So with YouTube ads, you need to have that of some sorts. I always recommend doing an ebook. That works really well. It's always really valuable. Then you're basically going to send them to a landing page, and then basically to a calendar page on the back end. Now, what I do with my agents as well is use another video on the back end just to continue to get in front of these people. But that's basically the funnel right there. You can see this one's going to be a lot more branded, and there's the people who are showing it to have a lot more intent or are more qualified because they're actually a homeowner who's also looking this stuff up. But Google ads are for sure a good bet. Again, better than Facebook, better than a lot of stuff out there. But like I always say, and this is why I do YouTube ads, but the lead quality on YouTube is going to be unmatched compared to anything you can find out there, just because all the little things that go into it, the targeting, the video, the offer, providing value, unique, your positioning, and then also getting people just booking directly on your calendar, which is a lot easier. You're going to get higher quality appointments coming into you because they know who they're booking with. Or even if you added this on Google ads, they still don't really know who you are, right? So even if they do book, they're probably not going to show up. Whereas YouTube, like they position you as the authority because they saw you on their TV, on their computer, wherever they're clicking on it, and they're booking on your calendar, right? So that's a breakdown of the two platforms right there. Again, YouTube versus Google ads, both work. It's about figuring out which one is best for you. And if you can tell by the title of my channel, YouTube ads is what I primarily focus on. If you do want to have a chat, see how it could work in your market, you're doing at least a deal a month, check the link in the description below, book a call with me, see what it will look like in your market, what type of results you could expect, and we'll kind of go over a custom game plan for you. Having said that, I hope you got value from this video. If you have any questions, comment them below or shoot me a DM on Instagram. Other than that, have a great rest of your day.